The former president's final pitch to voters in Pennsylvania today focused on migrants and kicking them out, but it also veered into a number of bizarre, sometimes violent tangents. There were his complaints about Kamala Harris's appearance on Saturday Night Live. He's also still complaining about the moderators at his ABC debate with Harris, and a complaint about the new kickoff rule for NFL games. There's also a fantasy about Penn State wrestlers taking on migrants in a fight. Also, a violent fantasy proposed by an audience member and echoed by the former president about getting Mike Tyson to fight Vice President Harris.
Mike's been through a lot, but he could fight. Let me tell you, that guy could fight. But can you imagine Mike? Oh, he says, put Mike in the ring with Kamala. That would be interesting.
Joining me now, House Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi. Madam Speaker, you are famous for your counting abilities, knowing if the votes are there. You and I spoke on the eve of the last midterm elections. A lot of pundits and others were saying it was going to be a red wave. You said it wasn't. You were right. What is your feeling about tomorrow?
Tomorrow is a great day. It's a day of democracy in our country. And for us, Election Day is not just Election Day. It's the weeks leading up to it, what happens that day, and what happens in the days following it. And we are ready. I feel very confident about what has been happening in terms of dialing, calling people about voting, door knocking, and digital. Millions and millions and millions of calls going out for our House races and, of course, for Kamala Harris. So we own the ground. That's what I keep saying to people. We have to have a mobilization, we have to have the message and that, but you must own the ground. And right now, the Democrats own the ground. So I feel confident about tomorrow. Of course, no one can predict what an election will be until the people vote. But I feel very confident about where we are.
The two candidates are obviously closing their campaigns in completely different ways. Vice President Harris is not even using the name of the former president anymore, and he's doing the same old shtick, mocking you, the vice president, the president, talking about reporters getting shot. What do you make of the closing messages you hear?
Kamala Harris has a message of hope for the future, a new way forward. I'm so proud of her. The other guy, he's a message of fear. I mean, imagine him talking about Mike Tyson fighting the person. What is that? What is that? But anyway, we don't agonize about him. We organize around her. And again, we're so proud. I heard one of your previous guests say, why didn't she do this while she was vice president? She did. She did. 16 million jobs under the the current administration, Biden-Harris. The other guy had the worst job creation record since Herbert Hoover. The CHIPS Act to keep us self-reliant, the infrastructure bill to create good-paying jobs, more investment in STEM and education so many more young people could participate, and lowering prescription drug prices from $500 to $600 a month for seniors on to $35 a month for seniors. So this is what they want to reverse, what we're doing to save the planet. I was with some little children earlier today, and they will live until the next century. So will your little children, to the next century. And we have to make sure we have a planet that is sustainable and healthy for them, a democracy that is strong, and a society that is fair. That's what Kamala Harris is about. No use talking about his, shall we say, degenerating mental capacity. Let's just talk about what she brings to it.
The former president has said that the only way he could lose, though, is if the election is rigged. Liz Cheney was asked on The View this morning whether she thinks Speaker Johnson will attempt to undermine the election. I just want to play a quick clip of what she said.
You think Speaker Johnson will do the right thing?
No, he won't. And I think that's why it's so important that the Republicans not be in the majority come January of 2025.
You were obviously Speaker on January 6, 2021. Mm-hmm. First of all, how concerned are you about that on Johnson? And what options would be available, if he, in fact, is still the Speaker of the House on January 6th of next year to try and gum up the certification of a Harris victory, if there is one?
Hakeem Jeffries will be the Speaker of the House. I don't know what the margin will be, but I know that we have the votes to win the House. I think it would be shameful if the current Speaker were to say that he's not going to accept the results of the election. When I was there 3.5 years ago, says she, self-servingly, they told me you're going to have to accept the results of the Electoral College in an undisclosed location. silently and this or that. I said, no, we're not. We're on the floor of the House to show the American people and the world that democracy has prevailed, and this and they failed this insurrection caused by the former president of then the president of the United States. So Hakeem will be the speaker. That will happen. That is what I spend a great deal of my time on, in addition to the electing Kamala Harris president of the United States. I feel very confident about that. But the public has to pay attention. President Lincoln, let the record show, I'm quoting a Republican president, said public sentiment is everything. With it, you can accomplish almost anything. Without it, practically nothing. The American people have to weigh in if they try not to accept the results of the election. But let's not spend a lot of time on that. We're spending our time on getting out the vote, dialing, door knocking, digital communications to make sure that not only does Kamala Harris win the election and Tim Walz, but also Hakeem Jeffries will be. We need him there for all of the issues, for the children and the rest. But we need him on January 6th to make sure that democracy prevails.
Madam Speaker, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget your vote, everyone. Just win, baby. That's our motto.